Hello guys, welcome back to this Python tutorial series, and in today's series we are going to look at loops in Python, and we are going to consider for loop, how to use break, pass, continue, and range, then nested loops and while loop. So I'm going to show you how we can use for loop to create a multiplication number, and then how we can use while loop to prompt the user to enter his username and password, and if his password is not correct, then I will keep insisting that he must enter his correct password. So without wasting much of our time, let's get started. I'll create a variable called item, which is equal to a set of items. So having this list of items now, I'm going to show you how we can loop through it using for loop. So for item, I think I have to make this plural, not just item but items. For item in items. So what this is trying to say is for each item in items, this item can be anything. I can make it S, I can make it I can make it underscore, so whatever you feel you want to use. But I think this is more in alignment with what I'm trying to prove to you. So for item in items, then I'll tell the computer what I want to do. Print each, let's say print item. So for each item in items, print the item. So let's see if it's going to print the item for us when I run my code. cd document, cd p files, and then python loops.py. You see we have shoe, bag, cap, and so on and so forth. So once I clear my script, and you see the script is cleared, then let me show you how we can use break and pass and continue and range in for loop 2 as well. And this also we can still use them in while loop. So if I want to use it for that, I can say something like if, let's say, item is equal to bag, then break. And what this break does is, if item is equal to bag, I'm telling it to stop. So far item is not equal to bag, it's going to continue, but once it reaches here, it's going to stop the program from running. So let's test it and see. I think bag is not defined. I think this bag should be in form of string. My mistake. So save it. Clear my screen. And then you see we have shoe, bag. So far item is equal to bag, then it will not execute cap anymore. But let's replace this break to continue. You see that once it reaches that bag, it will still keep looping. So that's what we use the break and continue for. So let me show you. So you see the bag, the cap is out now because we are using continue instead of break. So I believe you know how you can use them. I expect you to go out and try to relate more, or try to use them in other things. Try to create some complex things for yourself. But this is the basic way of using continue and break. Then another thing I have to show you is pass. Pass is just maybe I will show you pass in future. Let's say if item is equal to bag, do nothing. You understand? So we use pass where we don't want the program to do anything. I think I've used it in my previous tutorial before. So if you want to do nothing if item is equal to pass, then you run the program. Then if this item is equal to bag, then this pass simply means the program should do nothing at that point. Then another thing I would like to show you in this tutorial is how to use range, and I think I have to comment this out because I will be dropping this code for you later in my GitHub. So let me comment this out and show you how we can use range. So you can say for item in range, and then this range can be, so far we specify the exact range in, let's say if I say range is 9, then this range is, the range is starting from 0 to 8. That's what I'm trying to say. So once I print this range, print the item, each item in the range, sorry, item, you see that it will print all numbers in that range, but except 9. We have item. Why? Because I made this a string. I think I should remove it from string. Then save my work again. And when I rerun my code, then you see I have the numbers from 0 to 8 excluding the 9. So let's see again where we can use it, and I can still use my pass, break, and continue in this case. So I can still say if item is equal to 5, stop, using break, or if item is equal to this, continue, so on and so forth. This is how we use the range, and we can also specify the range where we want the range to start. Like if you don't want your range to start from 0, you can say 1, 0, 9. So once I save this code now and run it, then say I have 1 to 8. But if I want to like include 9 in my range, I'm going to make it 10, so it will look from 1 to 9 and not 10. So this is how we use the range in Python. And another thing I want to show is how we can create or how we can multiply number using this for loop. Let's say for example I want to create a multiplication of numbers, and let's say 1 times 1 2, 2 times 2 4. This is how we can do it in Python. I'll first of all create a variable. That's the first. I'll say input, because I'm going to expect the user to enter the input it needs. So I'm going to equal my input to integer input, because I'm going to expect a number input, and open my bracket, please enter a number. So I'm going to expect a number from the user, then I'll select from that what else, then okay, the numbers I'm going to multiply, let's say num equal to a set of numbers. So I have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 possibly. I'm going to get the input and multiply each of the inputs with these numbers in this set. So now let's go ahead and use our for loop and do that for number in num. Then for number in num, then I'm going to create a mod variable, which I'm going to set to the multiple. Then inputs multiplied by my number. So let's see whether this is going to work if I print my mod. And I'm not going to print it in the form of string, so that I will not return the error it returned the last time. So let's see what will happen now. Enter a number, I'll say 2, and then say it gave me the multiple of 2, 2 times 2, 2 times 2. But it's kind of confusing. I have to make it readable using my format string. So for that we are going to use format string here. I'll say f, let me clear this, and then quote, then I'll be getting my input here, and outside it, I think I have to make it neat so that the user will enjoy the output. And then I'm going to enter each number, which is number, and then I'm going to equal it to the output, which is small. So I believe you understand. Also, I think I've used it before in my previous tutorial. You can see, go and check it out. So this, whatever inside this curly braces, is not going to print, and all this is going to print. So it's going to print the number at the input, then each of the numbers in num, and then the result here. So let's save it. Let's save it and see how it's going to be like. Enter a number, I'll say 2, and then you see we have 2 times 1 2, 2 times 2 4, 2 times 3 6. So I believe you understand how we can use for loop to this extent, and I advise you go and redo what I do, and then try to like do more things with it. There are a lot of things we can do in Python using the for loop, and I think I have to show you how we use the nested loop as well. How we use the nested loop. So if you want to use nested loop, let's say for instance we have this set of items. I'm going to copy this item right away, copy, and then link it here, paste it. Then, let's say we have this item, and for each of the item we have an adjective for it. Let's say adjective that qualifies it. Then let's say the adjective can be, let's say red, shrink to again red, blue, and green. So I have all these colors to qualify each of the items in item. So let's see what we can use the for loop to do here. So I can say for, let's say for item in items, and then for again. So what nested loop really mean is using a loop inside another loop, or using a for loop inside another for loop. So that is what we refer to as nested loop. I can say for add, let me just use add, or I can just use I, or I can use S. I can use anything at this point, but let me just use add for add in adjective. Then we are going to print both of them and print item. We are going to print the item, comma, the add, and then when I save this, clear my screen and run it, you see what we have. So you see we have shoe red, shoe blue, shoe green, shoe bag red, bag blue. So if you want to like make it red shoe, red blue, red, you interchange it, bring add to the other side and item to the other side. So I believe you see how we can use a nested for loop as well in Python. So the next thing, which is the last thing, is while loop. So I'm going to show you how we can use while loop. First of all, I'm going to show you the basics of while loop. While loop can still be used as for loop. Let's say we have a counter here. Let's say counter which is equal to 0. And then if I want to increase this counter each time we loop over it, I can just say while true, and then I think we should have a tab here. Okay, my while loop is not correct. The first letter has to be small letter. So once it's correct, it should automatically give me this tab. And these tabs, these spaces are very, very important in Python. Once you shift a loop outside it, once you give an extra space, it's no longer what it is. Once the indentation is not proper, it's going to return an error that will take you a lot of time to fix. So let's see how this is going to be. Right through counter plus equals to 01, and let's try and print counter. Okay, so it's time to print our counter and see what it's going to give us now, if it's going to increment it or not. Whoa. So you see it's looping continuously because we did not add a break in our loop. So I will not advise you to loop like this without adding a break. It might cause a dangerous harm to your system. So let's open the new terminal again. I have my new terminal here. Then I have to go back to my drive, documents, and then cd files, and then clear the screen so I can, and then for me to run this code again, I have to tell it to stop at some point. So I would think once if counter is equal to 10, then I expect it to stop at that point, then break. I can save it like this and then try and rerun the code again. Python loops. So you can see it did not give us an infinite or infinite looping again, but infinite loop. So without using this break, a lot of things can go wrong in while loop and for loop, so take it serious. And another thing I said I will show you in this tutorial is how to like use a loop to prompt the user to enter his password. So let's go there. I'm going to have two inputs again. The first input is name, which is going to ask the user to input his name. And then second input is going to be password. I think I should use this short form of password, which is going to be equal to inputs again, because I would expect the user to put his password. Enter password. Then I'm going to set the password to a certain string. The password is equal to this. It's equal to the string 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now if the user enters his name and enters the password, if the password did not match this, we are going to use the while loop to ask the user to re-enter the password again. So let's see, while password PSD is not equal to, this is what we use, so not equal to password. PSD is not equal to password. Then we are still going to ask the user to enter your password again. We have to give it space here. So while PSD is not equal to password, we ask the user to enter his password again. I think that is going to work. and then let's put another. Let's use if. We can use all these condition statements in for loop and while loop, like if and else. They can still work in for loops and while loops. So I can say if or PSD is equal to password, and then is equal to the password, and then break, something like that. Let me just make the code clean. So once it's equal to password, then it should stop looping. But also if it's not equal to password, it should keep looping. So this is the place, this is the loop. So once this is not equal, it is going to return this and run to this one again. Check if it's equal. If it's not equal, it will rerun the loop. If it's not equal, it will rerun the loop till when this PSD matches the password, then it will stop looping. Or it can print something like welcome. Let me make it print something like welcome. Print welcome, and then stop looping. Let's see if our code is going to work. Enter name, Emmanuel. Enter password, I don't know my password. Enter password, I don't know my password. So far you do not enter the right password, it will not print any welcome for you. It will keep prompting you. Once I enter the right password, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then enter, then you see it prints welcome for me and stop. So I believe you learned a lot from this tutorial. So if there is any part of this tutorial you don't understand, please drop it in the comment box, and feel free to share and like and comment. See you on the next tutorial.